Make sure the computer right online. I'll tell you.
So, they just, how they feel.
So were they asking
They were just
you
looking for information. Not to me. And that's just really weird because, like, we were, you know,
So who sit there? So not him and
they also
and they kind of weird just because they're looking for maybe last people
right.
because it was the public discussion. She's not a big one, but yeah, she did like the years ago. She did this. What's her name? Smith, the Trills with young kids, and then she did Boston. No, she's so big against but everybody else got she's
Yeah, you see how here.
2 times in a row. I know. That's what I just said. Where is he?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. Like if they were on the news, more and more.
Oh, were they? It's really nice. The kids are coming in this weekend.
Yeah, for my nephew's
40th birthday. They just come in. You brought them. They come in all. You got the fans. They come in all the time. Your family has a lot of activities. And this is not like it's a funeral. It's a fun thing. It's a birthday party.
Well, he just wants to go to the party on Friday. He said, so he wants to meet someone to go with him to this. But anyway, so the next day I said, I'll keep it.
Sign in, you're allotted 3 minutes to present your initial comments. All meetings will be recorded auditorily and visually. Roll call, please.
Ms. Book?
Here.
Mrs. DePew?
Here.
Mr. Lahr?
Here.
Mr. McCallum will not be joining us this evening. Mr. Nagy?
Yes.
Mr. Zegarowski?
Here.
Mr. Dees will not be joining us. Mayor Noah?
Here.
Mr. Furman?
Here.
And Mr. Russell?
Here.
So two are here, that's fine.
Thank you. Were there any citizens requests? Anybody sign in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyone else that wants to speak, sign in?
You know the.
Yeah. I'm Jane Cassiano. I live in 5348 High Grove Road. I wanted to come here in my bathing suit and waterways, but I thought better of it. I just wanted to make an announcement that if no good deed goes unpunished, then you have certainly accomplished a very great deed. I think, naysayers be danged. I think that all the residents of Whitehall owe all of you, the management, the elected officials, and everybody who works at this borough, a big thank you for the great accomplishment that you have. And I wanted to start by being the first person. Thank you.
We'll talk now about this, what you're all here for, the swimming pool improvement project, where we stand. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Russ Meisel and give him the hot seat.
Well, thank you. Just give you a quick summary of events that have occurred since last Wednesday's report. We have been meeting with Nicholson, and of course, recently to go over planning and scheduling, trying to help them and assist them on getting the pool completed as soon as possible. Contracting work, Vanilla representatives or Nickel representatives have been doing the punch list items. We asked them to focus their attention inside the buildings so that in the event that it doesn't hamper the opening, of the building. So that is what they have been doing. Tom DeMarco is the concrete contractor, has completed the section of sidewalk in the rear that's going to the lower lot. That work was completed earlier this week. Inches Nursery has assumed the responsibility of assisting Nicholson with the site grading. So the areas along that sidewalk were graded here today. There were only 2 slabs that were damaged as a result of the work from the last landscaping contractor. They will be replaced early in the week, next week. Aquapool started the filters, and so on last week on the 6th, the manufacturer's representative was there to assist with that startup. They have continued addressing their punch list items. Good news to report is the health department did stop by last week, and they completed their preliminary pool inspection also on the 6th. They plan to come back within a month after the pool is up and operational to do their operational inspection. Aquapool did install the depth signage markers today. They were delayed, but they did arrive today and they were installed. After the material cures for 24 hours, the remaining portion or section of that pool will be filled the last 8 inches or so. That's promising. Merit Electric completed the light pole holders and conduits along the reconstructed sidewalk, as I spoke about earlier. They have been grounding light pole bases and addressing punch list items. The electrical inspection was completed on July 11th. They plan to finish all of their work this week on the 14th. First American Industries, they were the plumbers. They replaced the existing gas line, as I reported last week. The existing gas line within the pool house that services the hot water tanks. That gas line was replaced and was completed today. It's now under a pressure test, and we'll know the results of the pressure test tomorrow morning. If it's successful, then the gas to the site will be turned on tomorrow. They are also planning to install the damaged fountain again this week, and their work will be completed. Anna just gave me an update prior to the meeting that the Verizon line was installed and it's functional as of this afternoon. Today, we received a schedule update from Nicholson. They are projecting July 25th as the opening. However, that schedule does contain 3 days allowance for weather. So critical items to remain to get the pool open. The building inspection is scheduled to occur tomorrow. The pool house gas pressure test, as I spoke about, we will know the results of that tomorrow, then work with Peoples to have the gas turned on. The health department is scheduled to complete the inspection of the concession building on Friday. And finally, the last thing critical is aqua pool. Then be training the staff on the operations of the pool. We anticipate that occurring early in the week. Once we receive the schedule from Nicholson this afternoon, we asked them to coordinate with Allegheny Fence. It seems like the schedule was built to do the final landscaping next week and then follow it with the fence to follow. So we asked them to coordinate with Allegheny Fence so that they can start installing the remaining sections of the security, the perimeter fence and gates outside of the landscape areas that to be completed and before the landscaping is finished. Inches, the landscaper, the remaining work is certainly weather dependent. They have some fine grading left to do, and then topsoil to be placed. The flat area around the pool on the upper level will all be sod. Sections below the walkway to the lower parking lot here at the back, that'll be a conventional seed and mulch. So we've asked them to place the topsoil as soon as they can. I understand it's going to be delivered tomorrow. If the weather cooperates, then I would imagine they will release the sod for delivery. Essentially, they have 48 hours after the sod is cut to place it. So weather dependent, if we start the severe weather that I'm hearing reports of tomorrow afternoon, hopefully the sod can be installed over the weekend. That's our plan.
They're willing to work over the weekend?
Yes, that crew, that Inches, they have worked through the weekend here, and they work 12-hour days. So they have been very cooperative with that. And if the weather will cooperate with us, I'm confident that they'll be able to work through that and have the site landscape. And then again, once that landscaping is done, then the final section of fence will be installed.
I'm not worried about it.
So
I'm sorry.
if the weather cooperates slightly, it is possible that we won't be the weather days as they projected in their schedule. So again, it is possible that a soft opening could be planned for the 22nd. That would be Saturday. Barring the outcome of their, depending upon the outcome of the Allegheny Health Department inspections as well as the VIU inspections. So that is as narrow as a time frame as I can give you. Saturday, we'll certainly know more. Tomorrow, Friday, certainly before next Wednesday.
We have to do to put a bomb on them.
I'm sorry.
Palm under them. Now, it's all going their way, there's not going our way. What do we have to do? Do we have to threaten to be sued, arrested, or what? To get him up there with his gun? This is ludicrous. You're talking 2 hoods. When one's up there, or one group's up there, another group's up there.
Yeah.
You know, if they work like the fire company, when we come back and fight the fire, which had 20 guys and maybe 30 guys at the fire. You cleaned everything, trucks, hose, that was like a brand new truck coming in. It took a lot of people to do it. So what do we have to do? Other than threaten in any way we can, for them to say, well, get the fencing people, you have the funds up there tomorrow, and have them putting in all the fencing and get it done. What's holding you back? Nothing.
Mr. Lauer, I would say the threatening never or the pounding of the table, that's occurred throughout the project.
I understand that. I'm
We're
not
just
saying
dealing
about
with-
you, but
We're just dealing with our different, numerous trades, their schedules, their resources that are available. But we're doing everything.
well, I believe you are. I believe that they can do what they want to do. And it really, really, really aggravates me when through this thing, you could have had a lot of people working double, triple,
Weekends.
more, yeah, and all weekends. But that just never happened because they wouldn't do it. They're the ones that are in control. Well, I hate to shock them, but we're in control. Maybe there's some legal way that our attorney can do something where they get a whole lot less money than they want. And that's what the residents. We agreed that we think it's a great thing to leave every time it is open free. They so deserve that. So how do we change this around in the next 2 days? By telling them that, or maybe what we're gonna do is, you know, degrade them from ever working in Whitehall again for anything. Or we have some kind of lawsuit or some kind of dollar amount that we can pull back from that. I just think this is one thing after another at this tail end of this job. And I think it's terrible, everybody. I just think we ought to all complain. I know it takes time to build the $6 million pole. Well, they've had time, even though we started right at the beginning of COVID. Well, everything shut down and everything else changes. And then the first thing you know, we're allowed to get back to work. Well, that took 2 years. You know, we had some done. What was unsalvageable?
We let ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, I was having trouble following this
You have to stand
Nicholson.
up, say your name first and address.
Sure, my name is Steve Gerson, and I live at the residence of Whitehall next door. I was having trouble following you related to this Nicholson company. How do they, what's their role in this
Nicholson.
project?
Nicholson is the surety company, the bonding agent, or they're representing the bonding company.
Okay. So they're a private contractor representing the bonding company
Correct.
that the
Essentially.
bonding company brought in?
Correct, and essentially they are completing the project now. There are no longer NOAA representatives on site.
Okay.
I have a question for the solicitor. Can we, as a council, authorize the staff to settle, I'm sorry, I'm not speaking up, I'm thinking. Can we authorize the staff to choose the opening day within this time period? If work gets done a little sooner, or do we have to have another council meeting?
Well, your next council meeting is next Wednesday, right, so Mr. Russell's that's not gonna happen for next Wednesday. But yes, and certainly delegate that authority to the staff.
That's my argument. I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to have to drag ourselves this long. I think we drag it long enough down the road someplace. It's all because you can't get them here to work. And now it's done, they made their money. I don't want, whatever we can do legally to them, actually fight this, that we say, hey, you did here, you got 3 days to get this job done. or you don't make a profit.
I think they have us over a barrel, Phil. We can tell them that,
You know, Mr.
but
Lloyd,
it's not gonna get them to get it done any faster.
You have referenced in the contract, again, in terms of specific legal discussions, we will approach them to more executive session. I hope, not something we should discuss in public. But, you know, again, as we stated numerous meetings, there are liquidated damages in the contract for delay. And, you know, through time notice, it's about getting the work done you can. There's limitations as to what you can, you know, what a lawsuit would do in terms of getting something done the next few days. So,
Well, Mr. Solicitor, whatever legalities we can't talk about, and I understand that. The point is, we need somebody with the big muscles and the big move to say, you've taken this long enough, and few people are working up there. Everything was going fine with the pool. It took a long time because of COVID and all the things we've had. Now, all of a sudden, it's 3, 4 guys. Oh, well, now we gotta hang a wire. Now we gotta do this. I think you're right, Kathy. I think we should actually fight right now, hard as hell, and say, we're opening that pool up if people want to come around and walk around and look at it. You got to string a wire, you string that wire, you turn that pool over, and you string that wire, you string that, whatever it is. It takes 2 guys to sit up there doing it. I'm not accepting another damn thing. I'm sorry. Excuse my French.
Eric Crane, I have a question, 301 Southview Drive. I mean, I understand that, like, the landscapers and the fencing men have to work in the same area, so they can't really be there at the same time. But why should the concession stand keep its health inspection, keep the pool from being opened up as a pool?
It's just,
Doesn't have a connection thing.
it's just one of the steps that has to be.
But I mean, but does that,
Correct.
I mean, you close the concession stand till it's inspected.
Understood.
That should delay the pool opening.
Understood. It's just a milestone.
Right. And
But we have to go through the building inspections. We
Right.
have to finalize the site security fence for the
Just
pool
the county building
operation.
inspection. Is it?
Sorry.
Is that the county inspection? Or ours?
It's 2 components, the health department inspection, right? They've completed the pool inspection. So now it's the.
Mr. Rosales, you probably want to speak out. Yes, everybody back here.
It's the building inspection, Mr. Lockwood.
So when you were talking about the health department coming in, the inspection of the snack shop, you were just giving a progress report. You weren't
Correct.
saying that that's,
That's a
you know,
status.
preventing the pool from opening up. This, the fencing is probably the critical thing in terms of opening the pool. Would I be correct in that?
Well, there's the fencing, and then there are miscellaneous components that the pool contractor needs to finalize so that the pool can function safely. Punch list items.
Right, so, I took some notes, I want to make sure so I can talk about this too earlier, my call. So there'll be a building inspection report, building inspection of the pool house, is that right, this Thursday? Then on Friday, there's an inspection of the concession stand, again, that's not what's holding things up. And then the landscaping, what might be holding that up. The ordering of the sod for the upper level.
The only thing that would hold the landscape up would be.
All right, so, and they're scheduled to do that when, early next week, did you say?
It's really, it's Friday.
Oh, Friday, okay.
And I anticipate that they'll be here tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
Going fine.
So those are all really good things. And then, so if the landscaping goes in and then the fencing goes in after that, what critical thing would remain?
Training of the staff to operate the pool.
Okay. All right. So is there any reason why it can't, like what would hold that? It could happen tomorrow.
I don't believe that can happen tomorrow. I believe one of the managers that would be handling that is on vacation and won't return until Monday.
Okay, so Monday, people go on vacation.
Well, you said Monday is
week of the 17th.
All right, so Monday, starting the 17th, we'll have that person on there that could train the staff. How long, Scott, do you anticipate?
Well, that's the day.
Day, okay, so now we're at one Monday. So, so it's conceivable by the time, we have our next meeting, we could, you're saying at the latest, it would be, the projection is the 25th, and could happen earlier, as early as the 22nd. And Kathy's suggestion is that we authorize the staff to, open to make the decision to open the poll and communicate that to the elected officials. And that authorization would be made at the next meeting, because we're not gonna get all these things done before the next meeting.
Because one guy will come in, and then it'll be a day pass after that. And then another guy will come in, another day will pass after that, instead of getting themselves together like we did as firemen all the time.
How long is the fencing?
It's 2 days.
2 days fencing, okay.
That fencing, if I'm.
So let's say, hold on, though. So let's say if the sod goes in Friday and over the weekend and the fencing starts, would they be prepared to start Monday?
If all the materials are available, yes.
Okay.
But that's what we confirm as far as their availability.
Okay. So at the next meeting, again, we could be making an announcement as to when it's going to begin, right? If everything lines up and falls into place, is there anything else that I didn't mention that is important in the decision whether to open the pool? Any other inspections? Okay, so
Oh, we heard it.
we're close, Bill, we're close.
No, we're not close.
We are close. And remember now,
That's your opinion.
okay, remember, the contractor is gone. Everybody has to understand this. The contractor who originally, entered into the contract to build the pool is no longer involved. You get a surety company to protect yourself, to make sure that it does stay on a timely manner. And we're now dealing with, a new entity representing the surety, right? Is that,
But so help me God, that 25th will go to the 28th.
No, it won't.
And it'll go, come see, say.
Well, no, I'm relying on our experts. So, we just went through what needs to be done, though, and
I understand that, everybody out there understands. That's not making, that's not solving a problem. You can hear the problem, but you need the problem solved. The solve is being tougher, stronger, and demanding, okay? Or maybe they don't get paid, or maybe we throw another lawsuit at them, or whatever it's gonna take. We cannot sit here and keep quiet and let them keep saying, since the first of the month, well, there's one more little thing here, there's one more little thing here. Today, you had to put in a couple cables or something. What does that mean that you can't open the pool before? If the guy's putting in a cable, let him run around while other people are swimming. Or the other thing is, we have to start thinking about what can happen at the end of the season. Is there enough good weather that we can find that people, as we discussed it once before, we can actually prepare and go further in September if the weather permits?
Yes.
Can I ask another question?
sure. I mean, the president controls, as president, we have a question.
Good,
But that's, yes, I'll let you ask a question, but I think the meeting will get out of control if I keep doing that, so I'm gonna make that statement right now. Go ahead with your question.
How long is this Nicholson company that's represented the bonding company, how long have they been on site? When did they start?
I don't have the exact dates, sir, but I'm gonna say about 8 months.
8 months?
Yes, they have been here for 8 months. Now that we're still representatives of Nello, the contractor, the low bidder, here during that time.
I think you want to know when did Nello start?
Approximately 2.5, 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so see, the contractor was on site, but the surety, correct me if I'm wrong, was making sure that the contractor did the work and pushing the contractors, we
So
would
they could-
expect.
Nicholson, just so I understand it clearly, you said Nicholson's been on site for around 8 months, approximately.
Approximately.
Now, he's not our problem. The problem is
No, I understand.
waylaid by
Sure.
all these little things and nobody shows up to do them
Sure.
for an extra day or so, because they don't care. So we're the ones that are being hurt and our residents are being hurt. That's our responsibility. So I'm adamant against what they're doing. I don't know how you can force them to have somebody here, 2 or 3 different companies here tomorrow, the next day, and Saturday to complete most of this stuff so we can get manager learning and people prepared to enjoy this pool. And how do we figure out, can we go further to give everybody a chance to use the pool a little bit more into September? I know September starts to get cold, but if you have warm days, you never know when a warm day is gonna get like that in September. Could be the whole month. But if we can have the people, the safety swimmers and all that we have to have, then we ought to think about that. Because this is such a tremendously beautiful pool and it has so many amenities that we should not stop fighting hard. And I suggest that as the solicitor, the engineer, he can't do things unless contractors tell him he has to tell him what to do, how to do it. They've been looking at this pool the whole time to make sure it's built correctly. Is there any problems with it? I don't know, but God almighty, you can build $300 million building and you have problems. We have people in the road crew that are control of that kind of stuff. I mean, in the fire department. But when you know those things happen all the time in construction, you have to be able to prepare to come and make an end. But they're just dragging, believe me, they're all dragging at this point in time. They were fine before. But they're dragging, and I don't care what anybody has to say.
Okay, because of that, it sounds like the pool cannot open before, at the very earliest, Tuesday, the 18th. Probably not if lifeguards have to come in and train. I'm seeing the manager saying he needs 2 days, 3 days to train, at least 2. That it can't possibly open before Thursday, the 20th. Could we hope for Wednesday, the 19th? Well, because that's your training time I'm talking about. You need Monday and Tuesday, or you need the pool to be done so they can train.
The pool's finished.
No, there's
The
still.
dilly dally stuff has been not being done. Again,
Okay, so
You
in
can't
other
lock
words,
that
we
in.
can't make it, it's not gonna open before the 19th. We can make a decision at that meeting, and hopefully that decision will be open on morning of the 20th, or noon on the 20th, hopefully, I don't know. You know as much as I do out there.
You can see there's just a few things to go. They're scheduled. And, I think the message here is that we want everything to be done as soon as possible. So
And we definitely
we
need
want everything to
lifeguards
be done.
trained to do things, to where they need to be, because this is a whole new system for them. They do need training. Okay, and we will hopefully tell you next Wednesday some really good news. Before then, I'm gonna be really bored. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting? Second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you all for coming.
They were there.